Hey guys, so today turned out interestingly. Um, as you can see, the image in the background was kind of, I'd say, the 10th anatomy image I produced today. Uh, it did not go well. There are so many things I dislike about this, and so many concurrent mistakes that I know and I'm aware of, and I'm still doing. Um, which is very annoying. But today got better. It did. After this one, I kind of led on to doing the same thing. As you can see in this image, again, not great. Just this was number 11, uh, and then moving on to number 12. 12 kind of started to get a bit better. I think again I made today I made a mistake to rush into doing uh, the dedicated practice without doing too much of a warm up. Um, and As a result, the first, like, I'd say 15 to 20 pages of stuff that I've done, I just, it's not even worth showing. Um, like, even here, there's a lot of aspects that are wrong, but I can kind of see myself getting a little bit more warmed up and a little bit better. There's a little bit more motion coming into it. But still not ideal, not great. I then stopped and tried to do a bit of I did the usual warm ups. I did line work. I did circles. I did shading. I did a bit of perspective practice with boxes and squares, and just try and kind of loosen up a bit before jumping back into doing the anatomy. And it kind of it worked because the next few I did, this being one of them, as you can see here, um, I think turned out not too bad. We do have double ass man at the top left hand corner. Um, Not sure why. I think I was trying to get the um, some butts can have multiple lines, kind of where the cheek kind of falls and connects into the back, or the gluteus maximus for those of you who might be a little bit sensitive to the butt. Um, it's I don't know. I think it's a good drawing from the perspective of the rear view, um, but still there's so much lacking within it. Um, a lot of the drawings here, again, even though I can kind of produce these poses like this fairly regularly now, they're still quite stiff. I'm working on doing gesture lines more and more, but again, translating gesture lines to the characters is it's slow. Um, it is slow, and I think just trying to wake and relax my hand while drawing is important. Again, I'm going a little bit too hard on the pen, as you can see. Uh, a good example of this is the bottom center figure. You can see the shoulders. Um, I went quite hard in the pen, and it really takes away from the image. But again, they're not looking bad. Like, when looking at this page, you can tell that they're people, and I think they're getting subtly better, even if they still look like a bit of a dumpster fire. The next one is yeah, this page was kind of fun. I really wanted to play around with the movement and the gesture of the characters, and try to shake myself out of that stiffness that just seems to be an issue at the moment. I even tried mixing around with kind of morphing the body into different shapes. So I've got a person who's overweight on the center left. But again, figuring out figuring out the folds of, like, if you have a beer gut, and how that actually affects the rest of the anatomy around. is interesting. I need to address that, I think, anatomically, in some anatomy practice, dedicated anatomy practice using reference. The middle one is a guy doing I don't know, cannonball, or potentially, I think they call it the Slav squat. I'm not sure where I was going with it. On the right, okay. Center right is okay. It's not great. Again, stiffen the rear. I think if I had to like leaned the upper body a little bit, would have been better. I definitely think that the best images on this page are the top right hand ones. The woman and the man kind of dancing. I think they turned out well. There's not much detail to them, but I think pose wise they've got a little bit of sass and movement to them, which is something the rest are kind of missing. And the bottom center, the character kind of looks like he's leaning and looking back. But again, my comment there of needing to learn back shading is important. Defining the muscles of the back is more important than the front, because there's not much detail on the back if you don't have the shoulder blades, for instance, and the base of the spine and those kind of areas figured out, and how to correctly kind of highlight them in using a bit of shading. So that's definitely something I've marked down in my book to address overall. And then finally, the last image I'm going to show you is kind of more of the same, where I'm just picking different aspects and not worrying too much about detail, and trying to get characters and the dummy moving, and trying to really implement a bit of flow and a bit of gesture and a bit of just movement and life into these dummies. To varying levels of success. For instance, I like the bottom right image on this page. I think it looks good. She's kind of leaning in, and I think it looks decent. I like the one above it where there's a guy walking his dog. But then you got like images like the top center, which is awful. The top right, which is not great. The top left is not bad. And then of course then the bottom left and the center left, it's okay. Especially when it's trying to, like, you can see when I talk about the real usual way people describe how to do human anatomy, and they break it down with circles to cylinders to squares. You can see that in the bottom left. It just does not work for me. That's the way I was originally trying to do it, and things never came out well. But thankfully to Sekirosis. Anyway, his name is on the screen, and channels in the description below. His way of doing it just works so much better for me, anyway. But it was an interesting thing to break it down and just really highlight what the differences for me personally was between using these two different methods of constructing the human body. But yeah, this was pretty much my practice for today. Just page upon page upon page of this, what you see in front of you, and I think it's had a good effect. I think it's added a little bit more emotion, a little bit more oomph into the drawings, rather than just being consistently static. But sure, we'll see how long this lasts. Maybe tomorrow I'll be back to being as stiff as a plank. Who knows? But that's me for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to like, subscribe, and share. Or don't. You know, it's up to you. Just have a wonderful day and a great tomorrow. And I'll catch you tomorrow. Cheers.